Good afternoon, dear friends. Welcome to English session. So today we are going to learn a very interesting poem, Photograph, by Shirley Towson. Friends, I know that everybody loves taking the photographs, right? And if I want to ask you what is the importance of photograph, you will obviously tell me that, sir, photograph is used to revive our memories, right? Whenever we are watching the photographs, what comes to our mind? Okay, the past memories come to our minds as if they are alive, right? So photograph keeps us reviving the past memories. So I would like to just tell you that today we have the instant photographs, we have mobile phones, but just imagine the days when there were no mobile phones. So when I was going to college, we used to wait for the photograph for near about 4 or 5 days, right? I mean, identity size photo, if I required for my college purpose, we used to wait for at least 4 days. But now within 2 3 minutes, you will get the photographs. When you're looking at the photographs of your parents, grandparents, what comes to your mind? You try to understand about their life, you try to know how they were looking when they were young, right? So in the present poem, Shirley Tolson has written about her mother's untimely death, and because of that, she's actually very much distressed. She is very much in pain. And whenever she watches her mother's photographs, especially the one when she was 12 years old, her mother when she was 12 years old, and then how she looked beautiful, pretty, and now she is no more. The girl has been living for so many years without her mother. So, what comes to her mind? She is missing her mother very much whenever she watches her photographs, and one photograph is there in particular that reminds her of her mother, of her youth, of her beauty, and in between the mother struggled a lot. There are three phases mentioned here: the mother's childhood, the mother's middle age, and the mother's death. These are the three phases focused in this poem. Shirley has described them when probably she was very small, because when you read the poem you'll come to know that this is written by a small kid. So she has written this poem when probably she was very young, right? She lost her mother, and losing a mother is really the most unfortunate moment of one's life. So let me read the poem aloud. A photograph. The cardboard shows me how it was when the two girl cousins went paddling, each one holding one of my mother's hand. And she, the big girl, some 12 years or so, all three stood still to smile through their hair at the uncle with the camera, a sweet face, my mother's, that was before I was born, and the sea, which appears to have changed less, washed their terribly transient feet. Some 20, 30 years later, she would laugh at the snapshot. See Betty and Dolly, she would say, and look how they dress up for the beach. The sea holiday was her past, mine is her laughter. Both wry both wry with the labored ease of loss. Now she's been dead nearly as many years as that girl lived. And of this circumstance, there is nothing to say at all. It's silence, silences. This is the poem. This is a very short poem, my dear friends, but the meaning is very depth. The poem has a depth of meaning. Let us explain each stanza. The poem is written it's a grief of the poetess. It shows her state of mind after losing her mother, and she, whenever she is looking at the photograph, what comes to her mind? Her beautiful mother, her pretty mother. But during a course of time, the mother did not remain pretty because of so many burdens, because of so many responsibilities, or maybe some ailments, some you can say some weaknesses, right? Ill health. Because of that, the mother did not look beautiful meanwhile, and she died untimely. She left the daughter alone, and the daughter is really in a great pain. This poem is really full of sufferings. This poem is full of memories about the mother. A photograph. What is a photograph? A photograph means, you see, it is already a framed picture, right? Of somebody, maybe of a family, isn't it? So, a photograph, the cardboard shows me how it was. Now, the photograph is framed. It's a cardboard. What do you mean by it's a stiff and thick paper? Cardboard, you know that. Everyone knows about a cardboard. A photograph is a thick paper, and it shows me how it was when the two girl cousins went paddling, each one holding one of my mother's hands. And who are these two cousins? These are the two cousins of her mother's, not her cousins. Her mother, when she was barely 12 years old, my dear friend, just the girl is trying to make us aware of the past of her mother. The mother was hardly 12 years old when her two cousins, Betty and Dolly. What are the names of the cousins of mother? Betty and Dolly, who were younger than the mother. Mother was 12, means probably these two girls may be 8 or 10 years old. They were younger than mother. They went paddling. Children, I tell you, just this is occasion when they have gone for sea holiday. They have gone to enjoy the sea, and this is a very old story. And that time, we probably there were no mobile phones. The camera was there, and I still remember the Kodak, the film, and everything was really very, it was very attractive for us. It was very surprising for us. We used to wonder how the photograph works actually. But in today's world, technology is too much advanced, and mobile phone has become a part and parcel of our life. So we don't wonder when we see the photographs, right? So the two girls, Betty and Dolly, they held the mother's hand. Whose mother's hand? Our poet's mother's hands, right? And they were the cousins of poet's mother. They went paddling. Children, paddling means walking through the shallow water. Whenever you are going on the sea beach, what do? You're walking in that shallow water. You enjoy, you run, helter skelter, right? You throw the water, so you do a lot of fun with the water. When you are going for a sea holiday, you enjoy taking the photographs with the waves. A lot of fun is there whenever you are going to the sea. So they also, the mother, the poet's mother, who is hardly 12 years old girl, she's too innocent, right? And the other two girls who were cousins of the mother, they were barely 8 or 10 years old, as I already told you. And the girl, who is a big girl, my dear friends, the mother is a big girl. Poet's mother is a big girl, some 12 years or so, 12 years probably. After watching the photograph of her, it seems that she is barely 12 years old or so. Less or more, but 12 years. All three, how many members are there in the photograph? There are three members. In the middle, there is a poet's mother. Shirley's mother is there in the middle, 12 years old girl, and two girls who are holding her hands. Why they are holding hands? Because the waves are very strong, the waves are very speedy. So these small girls may fall down, so the mother is holding them, or they are holding the mother's hand tightly so that they should not slip and fall down. Right? These three girls are there. Who is taking their photograph? Let us see. All three stood still. Children, what do you mean by still? Still means very stable, without any movement. These two girls are standing very still. Your PE teacher gives you the instruction. Stand still. Still means without any movement. To smile through their hair. Why they are smiling through their hair? What does it tell you? Through their hair they are smiling. It means that that weather was windy. Windy weather. When you are going to the sea, there will be winds, and the wind was blowing very speedily, and because of that, all the hair had come sprayed on their faces, and all the girls are smiling. That smile is genuine. Children, in this poem, you are going to learn one thing, that is, the nature is permanent, but the human life is very transitory, very momentary, very, you can say, that's going to be destroyed sooner or later. But nature remains forever, the sea remains forever, the waves come and go, trees live for long. So nature is permanent, but human life, human incidents, human celebrations, human movements, human sorrows, sufferings, happiness, everything is very transitory. Transitory means temporary, momentary. Is that clear? So the girls are smiling through their hair. This is the picture when the girl sees her mother happy. Otherwise, the mother is not seen smiling throughout her life, right? And that time, the her mother was not married, right? She was hardly 12 years old girl, innocent. At the uncle with the camera, who was taking the photograph? One uncle was there. You can write uncle. An uncle was taking the photographs. He was taking the snaps. A sweet face. Whose face is sweet? Sweet means very happy, free of any worries, free of any tensions. My mother's, her face was very happy. She was looking very beautiful when she was very young. That was before I was born. The poet was not born because the mother was hardly 12 years old when the photograph was clicked. And probably she was free bird, she was very happy. But what happened to her after marriage? Right? Because poet did not see her mother happy after her birth, but she sees her happy only in the photograph, that too very old photograph when she was hardly 12 years old. And the sea, which appears to have changed less, the girl sees the sea in the photograph, and when she compares it with reality, because she might be going to the same sea, this daughter, this poet is going to the sea, and when she looks at the sea, she sees no change in the sea, but there is a lot of change in her life, lot of change in mother's face, lot of change. Mother is no more, children. Mother already had died. There is the poet has lost her mother long back, so many years before she had been living without her mother. So, children, the sea that is not changed at all, what does it indicate? Children, human life is ever changing. We have a very short life, it is ever changing. Whereas the nature does not change at all. It is firm, it is rigid, it is steadfast. Human life is very fickle, very changing, right? So, friends, and the sea washed their terribly transient feet. Children, the word terribly, terribly. It was terribly awesome. Transient means, what do you mean by transient? Transient means momentary, that is changing again and again. Their feet are going to change. Their feet are going to change means their lives are going to change. Here, feet indicates their lives, isn't it? The poet has very smartly used the word feet. Who is washing their feet? The sea is washing their feet. The feet that are changing, the feet like fate, their fate. The sea is washing their fates. The sea is there, the sea is the evidence of their youth. You cannot find any other evidence, but the sea is the evidence. The sea can predict that the girl's future will be changed. The sea is washing their feet. Sea has been given the qualities, right? What qualities are given to the sea? Okay, like a mother that washes the children's feet when they are dirty. But here the sea is washing their feet, just like the sea is blessing the girls for their better future. Right? Then, some 20, 30 years later, children, this is the story, very old story, right? The mother's photograph was clicked when she was barely 12 years old. But now, after 20, 30 years later, means tell me how many years old the mother must be. The mother must be old, you can say 40, more than 40 years old. She would laugh at the snapshot. Snapshot means photograph. Whenever she is looking at the photograph, children, do you know that you are keeping the photographs as a memory? You either hang them on the wall, or you keep them in the album, whatever it may. But whenever you are taking your photographs, your old photographs when you are young, now you are more than 40 years old, just see, then what was the mother's excitement, what was the mother's reply? Mother would laugh very loudly at the photograph. This is a middle step of her life. When she is 42 years old, she would look at the photograph and she would shout, see Betty and Dolly. What she would say? The girl, I mean the poet, is remembering the words, mother is no more, the mother is already dead. But when the mother was alive, when she was more than 40 years, when she was middle aged lady, she would look at her own photograph and she would say aloud with lot of excitement, see Betty and Dolly, and look how they dressed us for the beach, right? Beach holiday, the sea holiday. Children, mother was surprised to see their dresses, how they were dressed, because it is a very old story, right? That time probably they may be very poor, or they may be very small, and their dresses really keep mother amused, right? The mother is left nostalgic, and the daughter too. Nostalgic means you're attaching your life to your past. You cannot live without your past. That is feeling of nostalgia, right? So the mother is much excited at the age of 42, right? Or in the middle age, she looks at the photograph, she's shocked, she's surprised, she's excited because she is looking at her happiness. She's trying to find out her happiness that she has lost permanently. Children, the mother is not happy nowadays because she is a middle aged lady, she is not happy. Maybe out of her troubles, out of her responsibilities, maybe illness, or the reason is not clear here, but we have to guess. The person, generally, I'm just speaking, the person before marriage and after marriage, when the person compares his or her days before or after marriage, generally they find their bachelorhood before marriage, their time before marriage was happier than after marriage, because after marriage we have a lot of household responsibilities, growing the children, right, getting them ready for the school, lot of responsibilities are there, looking after the family, father-in-law, mother-in-law, I'm talking about the girls, right, lot of responsibilities are there, taking care of children, taking care of husband, taking care of everyone, old people, lot of responsibility. So they don't have the time to give for themselves, so their life sometimes become very miserable, very sorrowful, and if it is accompanied by some illness, then it becomes very worst. So friends, the sea holiday was her past. That was her past, means past time. She was going, whenever she wanted to pass her time, she used to go to sea. Mine is her laughter, right? And that is her laughter. That was the only laughter I saw her. After my birth, I cannot see my mother laughing, smiling. And I could see when she was 12 years old, her laughter is there. Both wry with the labored ease of loss. Both means the mother and the daughter, my dear friends, both means here the poet and her mother. Wry means they are just making fun of, they are with the labored ease of loss. Labored means that is earned with lot of difficulty, or you can say painful. Ease means comfort. Painful comfort is actually a paradox. Two concept, when happiness and sorrow comes together, we call it paradox. So children, the poetess is trying to tell us that both of them are trying to hide their sorrows, and they are trying to uh, get through their life, right? Both of their life is very difficult. Mother's life was full of suffering, she died untimely, but daughter's life is also very hard to come with, because living without a mother is really a challenging. So both are trying to learn a lesson in their life, how to live, how to bear a loss, how to tolerate a loss without complaint. What is the meaning of this line? Both tried their best in their life to learn to live without tolerating the loss, or accepting the loss, because loss is a law of nature. We are losing one or the other day, we are losing everything. We lose our clothes, we lose our shoes, or they torn away, we have to throw them. So in the same way, the body too, one or the other day we have to leave the body, because loss is a natural, isn't it? It is inevitable. We cannot avoid loss. We cannot escape from the loss. Loss means we are losing something. We lose our pain. How do you feel when you are losing your pain? How do you feel when you lose your pet animal? How do you feel when you lose your grandparents or family member or dear one? It is very difficult, my dear friends. So just imagine the girl who had lost her mother when she was very young, and now she is grown up maybe, but she is living without her mother, and it is quite difficult for her, and she is comparing her life with her mother because both of them suffered a lot. So this line both rhyme with the labored ease of loss. What do you mean by rye means sardonic. They are mocking at the life is making fun of her, actually. Now she's been dead nearly as many years. Who is dead? The mother, poet's mother is dead many years before she died, and the girl is living without her mother. Right? As that girl lived, and of this circumstance, there is nothing to say at all. It's silence, silences. And mother is dead, but who lived there? As that girl lived, the girl is living forever. My mother is living forever in the picture, in the portrait, in the photograph. The way she lived happily before her marriage, she lived her life. Her life was full of troubles, her life was full of difficulties, my dear friends. The girl is feeling sorry for her mother's life. She is feeling pity, she is feeling sympathy for her mother. And of this circumstance means death of her mother. What is the circumstance here referred to? The death of the mother. There is nothing to say at all, and the girl is speechless. She has no words to say. Her mind is emptied, right? Because children, the girl's mind had become very empty, and children, the mother and the laughter, they were the things of the past. What were the things of the past? The mother and her laughter, they were just the things of the past, because they are no more with the daughter, they are no more with the poet. This is a revival of the past memories, my dear friends, and this all deals with the sense of loss. Everyone must uh, go through the sense of loss, and if you have that maturity, means you can go through in your life successfully. You should not give up hope even after losing anything in your life. That is what we learn from the poem, because life is it is very transitory, it is momentary, right? It is not eternal, but the nature is eternal. So what lesson we have to learn in our life? We have to always keep smiling, we have to always forget what happened in the past, and we have to hope for best for the future, isn't it? So friends, this is one example. I'll tell you, oxymorons example is given over here. Labored ease of loss. Labored is the example of oxymoron, right? Two opposite concepts are brought together. Labored and ease are opposite concept. Labored means full of difficulty, and ease means comfort. When full of difficulty, comfort, how is it possible? But the poet can use two ideas together, isn't it? Its silence, its silence silences. Children, what is the silence referred to here? The silence referred to here is the poet's mother's death, and its silences means it makes her life silence. Whose life is made silenced? The poet's life is made silenced because of the poet's mother's untimely death. So children, this is a pun. Pun means two words are used with different meanings. Pun, P-U-N. This is example of pun. So the poet's life has become miserable. The poet's life is same like her mother's. The only difference is that the poet is alive, but her mother is not alive. She is dead. She has gone beyond the horizon, right? Leaving her mother, leaving her daughter alone. So for a daughter it is very difficult, my dear friends. This poem is a touchy poem, you can say, uh, where the poet has expressed her melancholy feelings. Melancholy means sad, forlorn, sorrowful feelings are expressed here, right? So I'll discuss the question answers in short. uh, Friends, whenever I'm discussing the question answers, you must write them down in your notebook, right? How many people are there in the photograph? First question on page number 193. There are three members in the photograph. How is the poet related to the people in the photograph? Right? Who are the people in the photograph? Tell me. In the photograph, there is poet's mother who is 12 years old, and there are two more cousins of poet's mother. They are named Betty and Dolly. They are younger than the poet's mother. Who was taking the snapshot? An uncle was taking the snapshot. Is the mother described in the photo alive? No, she is dead. Which aspect of the mother does the poet like very much? The poet likes her mother's smiling face, cheerful face, happy face. C2 question. Why does the writer say, and of this circumstance there is nothing to say at all, it's silence, silence, it's children, because the poet's mother is no more and there is full of emptiness of feelings, isn't it? And the silence is everywhere in her mind. There is external silence as well as inner silence as well. The poet can feel the inner silence. The poet is speechless. She is broken down because of her mother's death, so she is unable to speak a word. So this refers to her sorrowful state of mind, isn't it? Okay. Next question is there. Does the poet notice any change in the mother after the poet was born? What do you think could have made the change in the mother's? Already I have discussed. The mother, when she was very young, when she was very 12 years old, she was very happy, she was cheerful, she used to enjoy the sea holidays. But probably after the poet's birth, she was burdened with the family responsibilities, hardships of life, and maybe because of the prolonged illness, right? Or the ailments of body, or the maybe the age factor that made her lose her joy of life. She could not smile or laugh in her life because the poet could not see her laughing, right? This is the reason the poet has mentioned for her sufferings. Why are the feet described transient feet? Actually, the meaning of the word transient is momentary, or you can say temporary, isn't it? So the nature is eternal, but the human life is transitory, right? Nothing is permanent, nor even the happy moments. So the poet has used their fit transient. It means that their future also is not permanent, it's not going to be happy forever. So the poet has used transient fit, means ever changing fate of humans, ever changing fate of humans. You can write short whatever I have explained, you make it short. The next question: what is the mood of the poet? The poet's mood is sad or melancholy. Melancholy. Melancholy means sad. Which line in the poem do you like most? You can write any line that touches you, and why also. But according to me, all three stood. This line touches me. All three stood still to smile through their hair. Right? This line touches me a lot because they're all smiling. This is the best time of the mother's life, and the air is blowing, and they are posing for the photograph. They are smiling, right? This is a very memorable incident of their life. They never knew that their life was going to change in future. You can write in your own word. You write any line that touches you, that you love, that you like, isn't it? Is there any change in the life of the poet's mother over the years? What kind of a person you think she was? Describe the mother in the poem. Do in your own words. Children, what I feel is that the mother was a very happy, go-lucky mother, lady, or a girl in her youth. She was enjoying her life to the fullest when she was young. But over the period of time when she got married and she begot the children means gave birth to the children. She was burdened with family responsibilities. Probably, use the word probably because we are not sure. And she was not having the good health, or she may be suffering from ill health, and because of that she was all the time suffering. Her life was painful, and she could not laugh or smile, she could not enjoy her life. She was a very beautiful woman before the poet was born. She was very pretty girl, pretty woman, a smiling face, sweet face. These all words indicate her beauty, isn't it? Her life was full of enjoyment before her marriage, but after marriage it became just like a hell, full of sufferings. Right? This is all about the question answers. Hope you have understood the poem. Uh, Thank you for watching my video. Read the poem again, write the summary of the poet in 10 lines, and do not write line wise summary. Write the summary in your words what you understood, right? And what message you got from the poem. So, what is the message you got from the poem? Life is not permanent, life is very temporary. In life, sufferings will be there, sorrows will be there, happiness would be there, right? They would be just like the part and parcel of our life. They will be inevitable, we cannot change them, we cannot avoid them. So in life, what must be important, the show must go on, we must keep trying. Whatever the result must be, do not give up your hope because of the suffering, because of the troubles in your life. Rather overcome the troubles with great determination, then your life will become meaningful, your life will become happier and more successful. Thank you and have a wonderful day.